Okay. So see, right now, let's say this is again a simple based pipeline. All right. Now, if in case if I say that okay, if I'm willing to modify the task, that is possible. If I want to add up a task, that is possible. So tomorrow, let's say if I want to add one more task for the code validation, for the code analysis, for some test runs, some function test has to be done. So probably you can add up more tasks. It all depends onto my requirement. There will be most of the common tasks are here, or else you can look up on the marketplace also. Let's say, for example, if I'm willing to include the Terraform executions or something, then okay, you can go and get up extension and integrate them, and you can use them into the task. So these tasks can be customized, these tasks can be modified, or else you can right away start with the simple empty job. While you're creating a pipeline here itself, here they can say that okay, let's say this is the repo, and you can start with the empty job. So this is the place where you can see that agent, right? See, agent pool, Azure pipeline, or if in case if you're looking for the self-hosted agent, at the moment you can notice that there is no self-hosted agent. So how will you be able to configure the agent itself? Remember, we had created a virtual machine here, right? See, this was the VM. So let me go and connect to this VM right now.
So Rajesh, hello.
Yes.
So you just talked about like variable group we can keep in key vault. So if we keep some variables key value here in key vault, do we need to add key vault tasks in our job, or automatically it will fetch from the key
There
vault?
are two possibilities. Either you can add up the key vault task within your pipeline, or you can create up a variable group and link the variable group to that key vault and use the variable group along with that pipeline.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So the
However, uh,
variable group will internally call the data from the key vault and pass it to the pipeline, right?
I'm going to show it to you that one. Just wait for a while. Still,
Understood.
I'm going
Okay.
to show you that how you can configure that one itself also, right? At least you should have some understanding.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So now let's say, for example, I'll just quickly go with the agent, right? See, this is one of my local machine, right? Now, wherever the location of this one is, doesn't matter. So I'll just quickly say, I'll just simply go and download Edge, all right? It should be pretty fast now. It won't take much time. Okay, so that's done. So that's done. Perfect. So this is all good. So here itself, I'll just quickly open up. See what I'm going to show you, like say I can go with the agent, right? So let me just sign in with my organization there itself. So just quickly sign in with my account here. So if you go down to the project, let's say, okay, this is one of my projects, right? And if I go to the project setting, here also you get the agent pool and say, okay, let's go to the agent pool here and agent, new agent. So likewise, let's say this is one of the windows. So what we are going to set up is the, let's say how we can go and integrate the self-hosted agent, right? So I'm going to pick up Windows and I can simply download that agent. All right, so that agent is there. So this is where it's all right. So this is the one. So let's take it to the C drive and let me just go and extract this one very quickly. Say agent. All right, so now the agent is ready. Okay, so the agent hasn't been installed yet, but it has to be configured. So I'll go to my command prompt. Or let's say, for example, if I go to the PowerShell, run as an admin, and let me increase the size of the font. Okay, okay, now it should be okay. Cool. So it can be any, let's say, for example, if you are using a VSTS or any other server, right? So let's get agent. So dot slash config dot cmd. So here it needs to, while you're installing of the agent at that particular point of time, it needs a server URL, and this server URL is nothing but your DevOps organization URL itself. And that DevOps organization URL is this one. You can just provide up here. So yes, let me just open up this command once again. And then slash cd agent slash config.cmd. Anyways, I'll just provide it manually, so otherwise dev.azure slash whatever your organization name is, right? With AZ100. So here it says that okay, it needs authentication, and for the authentication, it's going to use a PAT. PAT is as good as it's a personal access token. So we need to provide us the PAT. So how do you get the PAT now? So when you go to the DevOps organization here itself on the right hand side, see under the user setting, you get a PAT. So now we can go and generate a PAT here itself and say for self-hosted agent, full access. So there you get a PAT. So now this server would be registered in one of your pools. So my pool name was SHA. And this is my server name, which is going to be registered up. And this will be the default folder, right? The work folder itself, or you can change the name of the folder itself, where you can see that all your source, all your codes, your tasks, your jobs, you can monitor them and all the executions which are happening within the work folder. So let's go with the default. So now if you go down here and if you look up for the project setting, and if you go to the agent pool, now you're going to see that here. See, my server is up. So at least you can manage that. And if you go down to that agent directory here, if you go down to C and if you go to the agent, see here itself you got a work directory. As of right now, this is all empty. Why? Because we haven't executed any kind of a job yet. So if in case by any chance if you are willing to use that, see, I'll show you. Say for example, if I'm creating up a new pipeline. And if I go with the classic editor. And say for example, if I'm filling up the ASP.NET application, all right. So here itself you have to pick up and change, let's say, self-hosted agent, this one. So once you define it, now let's say go and save and queue. Let's run the build. So before we run the build itself, so trigger. How do you want that particular build to trigger? Enable continuous integration so that as soon as the code changes, the build runs. So I'm not enabling right now itself. So I'm just saying that save and queue so that it can be queued manually. So once you run up the pipeline, now this is where the agent is running. If I go to that agent here, and if you see here, see it has pulled up the pool SHA and your job has already started. So making sure that that particular server, the one on which the agent was being configured, that meets all our prerequisites so that it can help us to build up and make up the artifact ready. Tomorrow, if in case, let's say, for example, if you want to go with the Dockers or something, so definitely the Dockers utilities and everything has to be configured. So right now, these tasks are all being executed within my. See, now if you see that the work directory, initially it was empty. So all your tasks which comes up here. So at least it becomes when you go with a self-hosted agent, it becomes easy for us to go and monitor. And here, so let's say it gets the entire source. S is your source. So it downloads all your source code. And all your execution is happening here itself, means the build is happening here as per the related tasks. And where it's going to be published, it's going to be published within my drop directory which is in my Azure pipeline.
So 2 copies, right? One locally and the other copy will be in the pipeline,
Yes.
right?
Yes, for sure. See, right now the build has failed. Why? Because it was an intention. Why? Because that server doesn't meet the complete requirement. So the purpose was just to show it to you that if in case if you've got a self-hosted agent, how you can utilize it and how we can take up a benefit of that one itself also.
Okay, okay. So now here, where is this work folder? Can you just show me the pipeline again? So can we change the work folder? Not here in the pipeline. In the pipeline, you just got a drop down over there, right? Where you can save the.
That happened here itself. See, when you install the agent at this particular point here, if you see, enter the work folder, it uses the default as a work folder name like this one.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
during this particular time, when you reach out to this step, you can change the name of that folder if required.
So whatever build runs in this machine, that will be saved only on this work folder. You do not have an option to change that, right?
Right now, see, you don't have the choice. If in case if you're willing to, let's go and run the command again. Okay, let's say if I run it again.
Okay.
Then you'll get up another flexibility that you can change the work folder if required.
So if I am running having multiple projects, and if I am running various different builds, and how do I do this segregation if everything comes and falls in this work folder?
Yeah, to add on this, so Rajesh, basically we are in process to optimize the build servers. Okay, basically my build server builds are happening weekly 5 to 10 builds. Okay, we don't want to assign or allocate a dedicated to each project to one build server, very difficult in cost perspective. Okay, we are in process to optimize the instead of using 5 build servers per 10 projects, we are using 2 build servers per 10 projects. Okay, in that case, how we need to segregate which project is there any customized available?
See, as if right now, see what happens, let's say you can have a multi-agents itself also. So let's say, for example, if I want to go with maybe let's say, see, as if right now you have got integrated with this and you're utilizing it here. And just give me a second. Let's say, for example, if I go down and see, this is one of the projects, right? Okay, if you say that, okay, I want to go with another project, but if I'm willing to use with some.
What if we change the directory of the build where we are placing that?
This one.
Yeah, you are using that CDC, no? That directly will be agent directory. What if we change the directory and then again run the different agent? So we can use parallelly both of them. Are
Yeah,
we?
that can be done. So let's say, for example, a VM can have multiple agents, right? And those agents can be projected to different projects itself also. That's what I'm going to show you. Just a second. So let's say, for example, if I got one more project, all right. So this is the one. And let's say if I go to the project setting, and if I go to the agent pool, and here itself I say, okay, so this was been coming up from there. So let's say I'll add up a pool at the project level, self-hosted agent, right? And say agent pool name, let's say new SH8, okay? And now here itself, I'll say agent, new agent, the same process, right? See, I've got the same agent running up here now. And I've already got up the download here. So let me just download it. Okay, I'll do it.
Okay, got it.
Let me just finish up with this one, right? So I'll go to the project. Okay, this is my project here itself, and project setting, and over agent pool. This is my pool here, an agent. That's my Windows. Let me download it once again.
Now just put it into different directory. It will work as a new agent.
Yeah, that is what I'm trying to do here.
Our drop location will change and we can utilize the same build server.
Exactly. So if I go to the downloads here and pull up that agent, say copy and put up here, I'll say, okay, let's try to extract the same agent. and say, for instance, project 2. Okay, now it's done, and let's go back here and run this command once again. See, okay.
You need to change the directory first.
Obviously, yes. So I'll just go and change up just a moment here. Say CD. Now this was project 1. Oops, sorry. Let me just check up. Project 2, sorry.
It's 2.
Yeah, it's 2. I know. So I need to go and extract ./config.cmd. Now it needs a URL again, https dev.azure, sorry, azure.com / whatever my organization URL was, right? So my organization URL was with AZ400. So with AZ400. Enter a path, yes. So you can get a path again, once again, here.
Rajesh, instead of creating new path, can we regenerate that previous one?
Oh yes, you can. If in case by any chance, if you want to regenerate, you can regenerate itself. If you go down here itself, say regenerate.
Okay, yeah, we can regenerate and use the for
Oh yes,
other.
yeah, that is possible. So if I say regenerate up here,
So Rajesh,
let,
after re
give me 5 minutes. Let me finish. Then I'm going to come to question. All right, just 5 minutes. Okay. See, now it says that under which particular pool, the pool name was for us. If I go back to that project and project setting, and if I go to the agent pool here, sorry.
SHA.
Yeah, I know that. I just want to confirm our basic about what's happening. Yeah. So it was new SHA, right? See, new SHA.
Yeah.
I'll define up the new folder here, new SHA. And the server name is the same. That's fine.
Now the work folder comes up.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just waiting for that to come up. Okay, see now let's say project. I'll say project 2 work folder, right?
Correct.
Yes. So I need a run to service as yes, enter, and that's it. So now if I go down here, see that folder came up here, right?
Yeah.
Now when I say that, if I go back and run the pipeline, now this is another project. Like for example, I'm just taking an instance. So now if I go back here to one of my projects, now if I want that particular, so if I run the pipeline, and let's say, okay, if I'm creating up a new pipeline here itself and say classic editor. Okay, so continue and then ASP.NET. Okay, for instance, and now from here I'm going to change up and say, okay, that was in a different project. Sorry, I'm really sorry for that. So I'll go to that project. This one. So you got a repo here. Probably yes, yeah, that's fine. So when you go to the pipeline and create up, say classic editor, and then go continue. Select ASP.NET. Now I'm going to say that, okay, see, new self-hosted agent. See, rather, now it's the same server, right? It's the same server, correct?
Yeah.
It's the same virtual server or a physical, the one which you're utilizing. So if I say save and run, So now if I go down, see, it comes up within this folder now. You'll see. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now it see now you
Yeah,
select
real-time scenario, this is very useful for me exclusively for an optimization perspective, because these builds are happening daily, only 5 to 6 builds. In that case, we don't want keep on adding the servers for each project. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
But you have to keep on adding patch. You have to create patch and you have to save it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
correct. That installation is not a challenging us, right? Yeah, we can
Correct.
install the agent and we can configure. That is one-time
see
installation.
this
Exactly.
agent, the agent which I installed, did it took much time? No, it hardly within a minute itself it got configured, right?
Yeah.
So at least with this one, you can go and segregate and earlier I just kept up a name as an agent. Now I'm just creating a folder by the folder wise, project wise, and you're having multiple agents, you're segregating it, you're isolating it itself also. And that gives you the flexibility to go and navigate whichever project you're looking for. So that gives you a flexibility, right?
Yeah, and Rajesh, one more thing. Basically, this agent version, current version is v2.188.4, right? Okay, maybe next 6 months, Azure may release another edition, right? New version.
See the
Okay, in
build
that
happens.
case, what is the best practices?
See, for that one itself, I would say that if you go down to here, agent, and pick up the agent here, and if you go down to the agent,
Update.
Yeah, is that best practice? Can we initiate like from here update agent? It will automatically.
just make sure that if the status is idle and no job is idle, you can update it.
Rajesh.
And you can see that okay, how many jobs which you are running. Sorry.
So Rajesh Sriram here. Okay. So can you please just close this PowerShell window? If I close this, okay, what happens is that I get this agent as switched off, not
Oh,
available.
you mean to say that when you close this PowerShell?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay. Let me close. All right.
Yeah.
I close. That would not make any impact. Why? Because that agent itself is running as a service.
Okay, can you just go to that agent machine? Go into the agent pools and into the machine, please.
Here, okay. I'm there itself.
Click on agents.
Agent is online.
Yeah, it was still showing offline.
Where?
No, in my this configuration.
Then I need to check your configuration. Here itself, see, it's all online. My agent is running as a service, and the anti-authentication service is already run for the authentication part. So my service is all good. I'm not going to trigger the service to start again. If in case if I say that start the service manually, then you need to run up a small command so that you can bring it online and offline. But right now, the default is authentication as a service, right?
But if you
I'll
turn
work
off
on
the
that
VM,
point.
it will go offline, right?
Or if in case you want to disable, you can disable for the temporary period itself also if required from here. Okay.
Okay, one last question, Rajesh. This may sound, a bit nonsense, silly as well, but I have to get in clarity. So, we are doing all this kind of source controls for the code, but after building that, we put this into this work folder. So here we are not doing any sort of, after compiling, are we not doing any kind of source control or things like that, or do we not have to do any sort of things like that?
See, the source control is happening in a repos, right? Where you picked up the Git. The source control is happening there itself. This is just for the build part.
Okay.
This is just for the build. Now, if you see that my build, this was the job which was running, and this was all good, and my agent was all successful. See, the build happened, and the artifact which got published up, which was in there, the default as a the drop directory itself. All right, this one.
For creating that build, what can I say, source control, we can use those binary repositories like Artifactory.
It is possible. It is possible. See now itself, it's here.
Hello, Rajesh.
So that means that your artifact are being stored in two different locations. Now one in the Azure pipeline, one in the drop directory itself also. All right. Is that clear to everyone? Now let's say, see this was my pipeline, right? And within my pipeline, if I click on edit, if I select that pipeline and say edit here, I'll say triggers. I'll say enable continuous integration and say save. What does this mean? That means that tomorrow, in case if I want to make up any kind of a change here itself, I'll say view and update. I'll just make up a change here. See, this was the project which we had created up yesterday. Remember that. So I'll just make up a change about my project. Let's commit. Now, once you commit, as per that trigger, the build should happen immediately. See, the build has started. And you can notice the stages, the job has been started again. And at the same point, it's using the same agent where the update is happening.
Yeah, Rajesh, I have two queries. One is real-time scenario. Okay, we don't have a development environment. We are working for this use case is related to dev environment. Okay, the dev environment, we don't have any additional servers, deployment servers. Like we want to use build server as a deployment server.
That
Can
can
we
be used.
use
That can be used.
that can be fine. In that case, can we create the release pipeline? Is that okay, or only build pipeline is enough? Which is
No.
the best
See, in
practices?
that case, see, one at the moment right now, the what I created up earlier, it was just a simple build pipeline. It is possible that when you are creating a pipeline within the build itself, you can go and define the task for the release so that the deployment can happen into that target itself also if required. That is possible. Otherwise, it is also possible that you can go and create up a separate release pipeline in which you can go and define the target. The target is a virtual machine or a physical server. You build server wherever you want to deploy, and you can deploy that one. Either that is possible.
Yeah, that is possible, but deployment group also, when we are targeting deploying the same build server for a deployment server also, we need to install the agent, right?
For the deployment group, right?
Yeah, for
Obviously, yes. Obviously, yes, that agent has to be registered for the deployment group itself also, so that when you're defining of the task, into the task you specify, okay, this is the deployment group, where itself the deployment, where the release is going to happen.
yeah. Can you please show us how to configure that one?
That
Tomorrow
that release part, setting up the release pipeline, defining of the deployment patterns, that is the plan for tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, sure, I understood. Yeah. Second query is I don't want my drop location would be in basically even draw that package. Post that build package is available in local build server and as well as our Azure drop location, right? We don't want keep our package file into Azure drop location. Is there any option to, because as per security norms, we should not use the our application or packages download in open internet. Basically, Azure is this DevOps is the open internet, right?
It is simply published to one of the external storage, which is a file share, and your file share can be in your AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, and you can put up there itself for a security reason itself also. Or if in case if you got a file share on a on-premises, you can go and store there itself also if required.
Okay,
All right.
how to customize in this scenario?
Customize in the sense basically you need to change up the directory. Simple like that. If you go to the pipeline and if you say that okay, if I want to select the pipeline here and say edit here, all right. So if I say that it should not publish to this location, you can define the location. You can specify file sharing. All right.
Okay, yeah. Can you please select that one? What?
But again, you should have a valid file path, the UNC path. See?
Yeah, correct. Understood that
And
path will be accessible through public
yes.
internet, right?
So if in case if you say that, let's say Azure DevOps publish the artifact to Azure storage. Right. So here itself, if you see that, so you got a copy file task and you can publish and build your artifacts and say, just a second. I'll show you that there is a relevance task itself also that can be done. So somewhere itself you get an option to define up the storage. All right. Okay. Anyways, I'll just come up with that link. I'll show you that link. Okay, and share that link with you. All right.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Rajesh.
I'll share that link with all of you.
Rajesh, I have one question.
Yes, please.
Okay, we are running the more than 10 to 15 pipelines at a time. Okay, how to handle the single self-hosted agent? Okay, if you are running at a time 15 pipelines, okay, that time that agent is select all the 15 pipelines. All one pipeline is running mode, remaining is a queue now.
See, right now what you are having one server, right? One VM, okay?
Okay.
And this is having multiple agents. All right. This is for the project 1, this is for the project 2, this is for the project 3, all right?
Okay.
But ideally this is the same server, correct?
Okay.
Tomorrow if this goes down, then what? Tomorrow if this server, this virtual or physical server, that itself it goes down. So that's
Okay.
the reason for which you can go and set up what? You can go and set up the agent pool where at least you can have multiple servers and you can install the agents.
Okay, you need to create the multiple VMs and you need to map into the
You can say that
agent.
A1 onto this, A1 here itself, and A1 here itself also on the 3 servers, S1, S2, and S3. So at least you can have availability for that one. Or the good part basically becomes is if I go with the agent pool, I'll show you one of the settings. This is also one of the features, agent pool here. And when you add a pool, here itself you get up a C, Azure VM scale set. That will give you the auto scaling functionality so that at least whenever the load increases, it can increase the instance automatically, or if the load decreases, the number of instances can be reduced automatically. That means it is going to the auto scaling of the horizontal. All right. So then you can take up a benefit of this. But again, you are utilizing the Azure services. Remember that. All right.
Okay, one more question. If you select the virtual scale set, if you don't have any particular pipeline, you are running the .NET project, or if you don't have any libraries, so how it will run? If you select the virtual scale set, okay. If you self-hosted agent, we are installing all the libraries, libraries like .NET project libraries, Visual Studio
Yes,
2009
yes.
building.
Let me tell you. See, if in case if I'm going with the VMSS, the VMSS requires of an image. All right. Here itself, you can go and build up a custom image. And that image would be having all your binaries, your SDKs, your CLI tools, your packages, your compilers. All that would be into the custom image, and that image is going to be deployed into the VMSS. The VMSS can have multiple instances, and the same image is being deployed to every instance.
Okay. Okay. One more question. Okay. You have the different pipelines, one for the .NET project, one for the Node.js, one for the Python. Okay. I don't want the single agent. I want the separate agent only. How to dedicate for that agent this pipeline or that pipeline?
See, probably let's say in that case, otherwise you can go and create up a multiple agent pools. All right, AP. I'll just say AP. Okay, create multiple agent pools and dedicate to different projects and different pipelines.
Different pipelines.
Yes.
Okay. How you will select it?
So if you want to go and segregate it, just simply create up a pool and have one server in each and dedicate that particular pool for that particular pipeline so that only that can be running up onto that given server. The rest of the servers are still free. You can utilize them with some other pipelines if required.
Okay, that thing is okay. If you are running the pipeline, anyone is the free, automatically select the agent and running only.
Oh, yes, yes. But
Okay.
again, those agents have to be registered. Please remember that, all right?
Okay, but I don't want to only this agent only selected the particular .NET project or .NET, sorry, Python project or Node.js project. How will
See,
select?
they itself, see, that again depends on to me whether that agent is now you should be knowing that that agent is only capable of doing with the build for the ASP and .NET projects, right? So while you are creating the project, you know that okay, you are creating up a pipeline for the ASP.NET, you are creating up a pipeline for the .NET or any other platform. So you should be having that particular documentation. You should be having that reference that okay, this is the agent, which is otherwise there is no such kind of a mapping which can be done within the DevOps. No.
Okay, okay, okay.
So I know that okay, this agent, the agent which I'm running up here, which is capable of handling, which can do the build for my Dockers, which can do the build for my ASP.NET, which can do the build for my .NET. Okay, I know that okay, this server is capable for that. It has got all the prerequisites. So definitely, while I'm creating a project, while I'm setting up a pipeline, definitely I know that okay, this is the agent which is going to help us. So obviously, I'm going to pick up this. Maybe I might be having one more server S2, and this is mainly for your Java based, right? So I've got
Okay.
all the Java prerequisites here itself. So probably I'll create another agent pool and say, okay, this is for the Java build server. So when you are doing for the Java based projects at that place of time, obviously you're going to pick up that agent pool, the one on which the Java prerequisites are there, right?
Okay.
Isn't it? Yes or no? Or else, let's say, if you don't want to go and segregate, put up all the prerequisites on one server and make sure that, okay, whether it works for the Java, whether it works for the .NET, ASP.NET, Dockers, anything. So the same server, it's going to help. But all the prerequisites should be met.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Okay. So guys, yeah. Yes, please. I'll give you 5 minutes to all of you now. So if in case you've got any more questions, you can please ask anyone.
Rajesh, okay. While the self-hosted agents are there, right? Okay, and you shown us that work folder that way these all files are going to be downloaded in in that particular folder. If we run the multiple times, the files are going to be replaced or what? How
Obviously,
it's
the
going to be?
files will be updated up, right? When you're running with the new build itself, the same files will be updated with the new part. They are not going to be creating up the like say the duplicates or something. No.
Okay, okay, that means it's going to be replaced or
Obviously,
over.
that will be updated up, right? That's right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And one more thing is like, is it a good practice, okay, to build the multiple agents in one pool? I mean that in one server.
See, it's up to you. If you want to segregate logically within the same physical server, have multiple agents. If you want to go and segregate along in different instances, have multiple VMs.
Okay, I understand that. What is the benefit of using one server for the multiple agents? But what I'm just thinking is like, is it capable of that server? That means that if multiple agents are running in a one server, means it should have a high memory and a high physical memory and a high.
See,
Uh, uh,
when you run
mhm,
multiple tasks, that needs a process.
mhm. Sorry.
If you're running multiple tasks, if you're running multiple jobs and they're quite
Mhm.
processor intensive, definitely that server has to have some good piece of hardware.
Yeah. That's what I was asking. Is it
Other,
okay?
otherwise, see, the good part into the self-hosted agent is that at least I can know that what hardware I'm using up, whether will I be able to increase the compute size, whether will I be able to put up more memory or processor if required. I can customize it, right?
Yeah.
But that is not possible with the Microsoft hosted agent,
Hmm.
correct?
Okay.
But
Yeah.
no, see, I would not say there are pros and cons in both the cases, whichever you want to go. Whether now you say that okay, my concern is okay, I don't want to get into the billing part, I don't want to get into the management part. So obviously, my choice would be Microsoft hosted agent.
Okay.
On the other side,
It's
I
good.
say no that okay, I want to have my own customizations and I want to the billing. So definitely, I'll go with self.
Okay. That means that it's purely depends on our requirement and how other things work on our side, right?
There is a requirement for the project need. There is a requirement for my business need. You need to go and analyze it,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Rajesh. Yeah.
Thank you. So guys, let's before we proceed, let's take a very small short break of 10 minutes. All right, a short 10 minutes break again, and we'll get back and we'll talk about more about the variables and the variable groups and the integration with the Azure Key Vault. And definitely, yes, we're going to see how you can go and create up the YAML pipelines itself also. Right now, you saw with the classic editor. Now I'm going to show it to you with the YAML pipelines as well also, right? So let's go back and take up a 10 minutes break. So we'll resume after. So this is 4:20. So 4:30, all right? 16:30. We are going to resume, all right?
Yeah, Rajesh. Fayaz here. One question, like I want to understand like some of the toolings around, let's say when we are building this build pipeline. So how to do a kind of cleanup? Let's say most of the developer environment they set up in the solution post build event or something like that. That's majorly from a dev perspective. But when we bring it into agents and dev pipeline, is there a way to clean up those and not run those tasks as a part of solution and something like that?
See, it all depends what kind of a task you're going to define up here within a pipeline. You can remove the task, you can add up a task as per your own choice.
No, so when the task is of build solution, so what happens is like the building of the solution in, let's say, any .NET or a .NET project. What happens is like it builds that solution from the repository. The solution itself has something called post build event defined in the repository itself. So is there a way to tweak around and don't run some of that in from that solution?
You can create up the filters.
Okay, let me have a search around it because that's part I'm not getting actually. Yeah.
So let's get back and we'll resume in another 10 minutes. That is 16:30. All right. All of us. Are you guys back?
Yeah, Rajesh.
At least acknowledge, right? So even if in case if you're not willing to unmute, at least you can just type in yes, no, something. So you should acknowledge, right? At least all of you. Otherwise, how will you be able to make up the session interactive, huh? Otherwise, it will make the trainer feel that, okay, he's talking to the walls. Thank you so much for the confirmation. All right. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay. So let's go ahead. So see, it's a, let's say, for example, you've got Azure environment, right? So first thing first, let's say, for example, if I want to go and store within my additional or external storage itself. So first thing I need to have a keyword. Now remember one thing, let's say this is somewhere external, right? This is external. So this service is not a part of my Azure DevOps organization. So say, for example, if I go with Azure Keyboard, demo Azure Keyboard, right? Okay. I'll pick up one of the regions and say create. So after some time, probably I'll give you some time so that you can also practice. I'll give you some of the links where you can refer them and you can practice also. All right, so now the keyword is ready. So if in case you, let's say, for example, we are defining up the key variables here itself, like say the key value pairs. And say, for example, one of my variable, the key is like a username. It can be any variable, let's say, which